Welcome back to Geek Therapy Radio. I'm Johnny Hemberger, still your mental curator for this evening and every evening you choose to spend with Geek Therapy Radio, or your morning commute, or your commute home from work in the evening, like I just started out with. Well, you know what? My show airs on the actual terrestrial radio here on 950 KPRC AM in Houston, an iHeart radio station, at 12:06 a.m. Sunday morning. I like to think of it as midnight Saturday night. But that's neither here nor there, and maybe one day soon I will be put on a better hour. Maybe I can get my show on middle of the afternoon, Saturday or Sunday, right before or after What's on Tap Radio with James Simpson. What's on Tap Radio, where they talk about beer. Of course, that's going to be a popular show. And it sounds like I'm making a segue into talking about beer here on Geek Therapy Radio. Beer here! Beer here! Butt scratch up! My brain. But no, I'm not going to talk about beer. What I'm going to talk about, there's a couple of games that are coming out that I'm kind of psyched about. Oh, there's like 3 of them. I just thought about Ace Combat 7. Ace Combat 7! Oh! Ace Combat is one of the most underrated video game series in modern times. It's a fighter pilot simulator, and it's great. Ace Combat Assault Horizon, meh. They try to make it too Call of Duty. Nobody wants to do dogfights on rails. That doesn't mean doing dogfights on cocaine. What rails mean in a video game is that you enter dogfight mode and you no longer control, for the most part, the direction of the aircraft. The game takes over, keeping you behind an enemy fighter, and all you have to do is press the button to shoot them. That's stupid. Ace Combat was always a simulator, a straight-up simulator with a video game element, with a story in there, and it was great. Ace Combat 4 for PS2, that's where I first started playing. Wonderful. It's still good to this day. But I'm not chewing up on my time to talk about Ace Combat. That is a game that Ace Combat 7, I'm very excited for that to come out, and it's becoming an increasing challenge for me not to buy a PS4 because I still haven't played The Last Guardian yet. Ace Combat 7's coming out. And again, sorry for these sniffles, but I need to get a PS4 now. I guess I just have to get a PS4. But there's a game coming out that I want to tell a little story about. It's Road Rash. Road Rash is coming out for the PC. A new Road Rash. You may remember Road Rash on the Sega. I remember Road Rash 64 for the Nintendo 64, and that's the story I'm going to tell right now, because I'm going to talk about my friend Nathan and how he tried to kill me IRL in real life playing Road Rash. Not with a lead pipe to the face, not by sticking a pool cue through the spokes of my motorcycle like you're doing in Road Rash, but Road Rash 64 came out around the time that my lung collapsed when I was a teenager for the first time. My lung collapsed twice in my life, both lungs. But my left lung collapsed 98% when I was 17 years old, which is around the time I got the DeLorean too. Anyways, so I finally get home from the hospital. They reinflate the lung and blah, blah, blah. I was basically tethered to the wall of the hospital on a vacuum line that was using reverse air pressure to suck my lung back open. So I was tethered to the wall. I couldn't really move. So anyways, I got discharged from the hospital finally after it seemed like a lifetime. It was about 8 days. And the doctors and the surgeons are like, okay, all you need to do now to recover is don't lift anything heavier than a newspaper. Just try not to move really in general. Don't laugh, don't sneeze, don't cough, and be very careful when you poop. Taking a dump in the hospital with a collapsed lung was difficult. And I'm just going to explain it because it's a little scientific. It's not super dirty, but you use your diaphragm a bit when you're dropping the kids off at the pool, let's just say. And when you're squeezing, all you're doing with a collapsed lung is pushing air out of the lung. You're just bubbling air out the lung. So I'd push, and just instead of pushing feces out of my body, I was pushing air out of the gaping hole in my lung. So I had another way to put it. Oh, geez. I had no leverage, if you will. So anyways, the doctors discharged me like, all you got to do is just don't do anything. The main thing is don't laugh. And I was like, that's going to kill me. Because my friends, immediately, I'm going to tell them, the doctor says not to make me laugh. I know all they're going to do is try to make me laugh. So I'm home, still not going to school because I can't do anything. And I'm playing Road Rash 64. And Nathan comes over, and I tell Nathan, like, immediately, Nathan, if you make me laugh, I'm going to die. The doctor said if I laugh, I'm going to die. So please, for the love of God, don't make me laugh. That was a big mistake. We were playing Road Rash 64, and he's doing all these crazy things in the game. Road Rash 64 is one of the funnest games ever. So we're doing these silly things in the game, putting in these codes to make the motorcycles go 400 miles an hour, and you could get into wrecks, and your rider would just ragdoll through the air. And so I'm sitting there trying not to laugh, and he's trying to make me laugh. Nathan is trying to make me laugh. So the way I'm laughing with my collapsed lung, knowing that if I just go, I could die. He's making me laugh. Nathan's making me laugh, and I'm just going, That's how I was laughing. I hate you. Nathan, I hate you. I'm going to haunt you. If I die, I swear to Jesus, I'm going to haunt you for the rest of your life. That's how I'm trying not to die laughing, basically. And I have to thank Road Rash for that. And by the way, this is probably my single greatest segment of Geek Therapy Radio ever. When I do a best of, I'm just going to do this segment 3 of episode 29. I'm just going to air this segment in perpetuity. Perpetuity. Pituitary. Okay, so Road Rash is coming out for the PC, and I'm super excited, super stoked. Another game, as a side note, because I have a couple seconds left in this segment, Project Cars 2 is coming out, and I still haven't really played too much of Project Cars 1. You know why? Because when Project Cars 1 was announced, to my understanding, it was going to have like almost every car ever made in it. Kind of like Gran Turismo, but like even more cars. I thought I was going to buy Project Cars off of Steam for $60, which I did. And I was going to be able to choose my old 1994 Volkswagen Passat and paint it red and cruise around in a video game with the same car I had in high school. I was excited for that. I thought Nathan would be able to go into the game and choose a 1988 Acura Integra and slam the deck lid down on a tiny Indian's head. Carl. I should do a Geek Therapy Radio episode where it's just old stories of childhood. So to recap this segment, we talked about Road Rash 64, Road Rash on the PC. We talked about taking dumps with the collapsed lung is hard. And on that note, we'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio, a final segment of this week. This show is already my favorite ever. Not because the doo-doo anecdotes, but because this Star Trek turns 30. I drove an RS-7. Road Rash is coming out for the PC. What an awesome week to be a geek. Oh, we're going to talk about some literature. We're going to geek out about literature for the first time on Geek Therapy Radio here in the next segment, because it's going to be a short segment because I'm chewing up too much time. But we're going to get literary. We're going to actually push them specs up and get literary here on Geek Therapy Radio, talking about Annihilation. That's the name of a book and a movie coming out, Annihilation. More Geek Therapy Radio coming up. I'm Johnny Hamburger. Stick around. Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook, Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. My girlfriend makes so much fun of me because I pimp all my sites so much. But guess what? It's radio. It's what you got to do. Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube. We'll be right back. I am Johnny Hamburger. Stick around.
I got you stuck off the realness.